Now let's take a look at identifying our fact table. Now in a previous video, I talked about how I'm going to build this little sample data mart to help you get your head around using integration services and SQL data tools. And I talked about the dimension table, and that was in a video entitled Identifying Our Dimensions. Well, we're also going to need a fact table, and notice this is generally what it's going to look like right here. Now, our fact table is going to include obviously data loaded directly from the source. And again, our source is going to be that sample data warehouse database that Microsoft's provided that I put in the work files folder, and we went through attaching it and so forth after we installed SQL Server earlier in the course. But I want you to notice here that most of this data we're going to pull straight from the, I think it's the Internet Sales Fact Table in the Data Warehouse AdventureWorks 2012 database. But notice I'm going to do a couple of other little things here to show you on how to load these. We're going to go ahead, let's just pretend here that in our requirements phase, when we were trying to determine exactly how we're going to build our data warehouse, what data we want to see, what data needs to be reported, we saw over and over again that they're always wanting to see total sales, tax amounts, and other things. And so to make this simple, we'll just do two. But notice we're pulling quantity and price right from our data. Now we're treating that data warehouse version of AdventureWorks as kind of our staging table or our source table. But if you go out there and look, it's probably an order details table, I think, out in the OLTP version of AdventureWorks 2012. You'll see there's a quantity and a price, but we're going to go ahead and pre-calculate and load these into our data warehouse fact table. So we'll just take quantity times price, get a total sale, and then we'll take quantity times price times a certain percentage. We'll just pick one out of the air, probably 9% or something, and see the tax amount that's due the state on this particular sale and preload that. That way, when we pull queries for reports and things, we won't have to calculate these. They'll be pre-calculated and stored in our data warehouse tables. So that's just an example of some of the things we can do here. The bottom line is we want to zero in on the data that we need for pulling reports, doing any kind of business intelligence, data mining, this sort of thing. Have it at the ready with the fewer number of joins to be able to get them. So that's what our fact table is going to look like. And then we're also going to throw in that calculated data. Again, a lot of different ways to do this. Just focus with me here. I want to make sure that I take you through the steps of using SSIS. And so now I'm going to jump back into talking about indexes, data compression, partitions, and all that. And then we'll get into actually creating our dimensions in our fact table a little bit later on in the course. But I just wanted you to see what they're going to look like, how we're going to use them, where the data is coming from.